can spend 5 minutes and talk on the sidelines. Welcome, everyone. Beant Singh is my guest today, CEO at Extendly. He's a serial entrepreneur, and he's built something amazing when it comes down to Extendly. There's a massive fan following in the HighLevel community of the support services that Extendly provides. Very specific, very niche oriented, and a very particular pain point Beant and Extendly are solving is that so many HighLevel users need day-to-day support in when they're trying to build out their high levels for their agencies, for their businesses, or whatever that might be, mainly for marketing agencies. And they didn't have this support structure available to them pre-Extendly. So now they do, and I think Beant, correct me if I'm wrong. You guys are going to be approaching your second year in business right now, or how long has Extendly been around?
Yeah, so we started in June 2021. So we just crossed our second year. We're going into our third, and we're definitely excited for it. Just like what you touched upon. Well, if we back up a little bit, HighLevel's provided a great platform that you can white label for agencies to sort of become more of a software company themselves. And when you're a software company, you need to have tech support services available, right? So currently, agencies would have to go build out, or prior to us, they would have had to build out their own support structure, hire and train team members, manage them, and so on and so forth, and which would be a very expensive endeavor for them to take up on, and it would take away from them actually doing their job, which is to get more customers, help more customers. So we sort of saw that as a problem and wanted to solve that, which is why sort of picking back on HighLevel's philosophy of a white label support provider. Hey, we've got an entire dev team. You just have to white label our services, and here's how you do it. You pay us a subscription, right? So we said sort of the same thing. Hey, we've got a whole support team. We're going to provide you 24/7 live chat service and support all of your customers and yourself as well. You don't have to worry about any hiring processes, training processes, which softwares to use. We're going to take care of all of that management on your behalf. You just got to pay a subscription fee, which is, probably 1/10 of a cost if you were to hire in-house and train them, manage them. And now you can focus on what you do best, which is to go help your customers, go sell your product, be in front of them, create more content so you can promote your own product and not have to worry about any of the support services.
So in terms of the support service itself, can you elaborate on what does this support mean? Where do you guys come in, and what is the actual problem that you're solving for me on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, so what happens is when someone signs up for our service, they get an all-in-one branded support engine widget, which is a live chat widget that goes right inside their own HighLevel account, right? And any of their customers and themselves or their staff, whenever they have questions related to HighLevel or their own software, rather their white label, they can go into that chat widget, pop it open, and enter in and ask any questions. And then our support team is on the other side of that, which is answering those questions for them, right? So that's sort of the general experience that we provide. And then, go above and beyond that. So if there's a customer that's having a tough time understanding or trying to figure out what they're trying to do and go back and forth, we'll hop on a Zoom call as well to help them, guide them through,
walk them through like
yeah.
a step-by-step. Yeah. Awesome. Right. That's amazing, man. I don't think that's, it was much needed. And, the HighLevel community is growing massively. So this is very, very important. And, since, they're a marketing company, I guess they come from the agency world. So, we're okay with all of this stuff, not them being not like a massive software company where they have all of these things going on and give and being white label. I think that's a new business, right? Like where a company like Extendly can come in and they can just plug in to this company called HighLevel and support the customers of this company, which means it's a two-way street. So it's amazing. And so in the old days of how business used to be done, this may not have worked out, or it may have been considered as a threat. But in the environment that we're operating in right now, this is an opportunity. It's an opportunity for everyone who's involved over here. So what a great way to plug in. And so that's great. That's overall the gist of what Extendi does. And what you guys are doing on the day-to-day basis right now. Let's maybe start a little bit in terms of finding out who Beant is, and who's the person behind Extendly. Kind of dig in a little bit, find out our stories, and see how you got to that point. Can you walk us through a little bit about who you are, Beant, where you're from, and what experiences led to Extendly?
Yeah, nothing. I wouldn't say there's a whole bunch of special things about me. No superpowers, at least that I'm aware of yet. Uh, but just your average normal guy who had a dream about being a successful entrepreneur. So sort of led towards that journey. Fell in through a lot of failures early on, which is what sort of I devote my whatever success that is achieved so far to learning from those failures. Not a lot of people talk about failures, and I openly say that if I hadn't failed, I don't think I would have been able to reach whatever success I have been able to reach so far. If early on I succeeded, I probably would have failed, and would have failed much, much worse. That would have been difficult. So failing early on sort of set that pace for me, set that reality for me that not everything is just uphill, right? You can fail and you can hit the ground bottom, and I did as well. But I was lucky enough to be able to have the courage to pick up and continue move forward and get to successful businesses. And now I've been blessed enough to be able to be operating a security company that is where I first got my start. We've got 8 pizza restaurants now. We just opened up our 8th one a few weeks ago, and of course Extendly. Extendly's been growing for the last 2 years. So I'm excited about that.
That's awesome. So what out of all of your businesses, what business are you most excited about?
They all excite me very much. I do end up spending a lot more time in Extendly because this was sort of a dream and passion that I had. Early on, I always thought to myself, one day when I'm successful, I want to be able to help other entrepreneurs. I want to be able to, I always call this, think center, that we're going to build some sort of think center. I had no clue what that was and how it was going to work. But I always said, and that's the purpose of that is going to be to help entrepreneurs. And not too long ago, I realized that being in this world with HighLevel and Extendly, that's exactly what I'm doing. Matter of fact, I'm doing it in a double tier approach where we are helping agencies who are starting out their dream, right, of becoming an entrepreneur, and then they're going and getting customers. And now our support services are helping those businesses as well that are agencies customers. So sort of linked in multiple ways here, and which is what keeps me excited and motivated to spend more and more time here.
That's amazing, man. What a great journey. I'm very, very impressed in everything that you're accomplishing, especially, a lot of us owner level people, we have multiple things going on at the same time. that's just the nature of the beast when you want to call yourself an entrepreneur, because I don't know, for me, I want to look at other things, and just exactly like what you said, Beyond, where you had this vision of doing something at a very grand level, and you didn't know how to get there, right? That's the
Yeah.
perfect example of a
Matter
entrepreneur, very well defined, my friend.
matter of
And
fact,
go ahead, Beyond.
sorry, matter of fact, I remember one day we were driving, me and my wife, and she's like, "You always talk about this vision," and at this time, I only had my security company. Right, there was only one business. That's all I had, and I spent all of my time there. She goes, "You always talk about this vision. How do you plan on getting there?" And my answer to her was, "I have no clue, but I know opportunities and doors will open, and we'll find a way."
Yeah,
Literally,
yeah.
that's
I
exactly
think
right.
as long as you have that bullseye right in front of you, this is where I need to get to. You're going to adjust and balance. And I think it was Einstein, don't hold me to it if I'm quoting him wrong, who said that, life's like riding a bicycle. You have to constantly balance it in order for you to go forward, right? So
Right.
it's going to be things you're going to have to do along the way to get to that point, as long as that's where you're headed. And I had a very similar Beyond vision, where I wanted to, like early in my college when I first started to learn a big, dream big. I'm
Mm.
like, okay, what do I need to do? I knew that I wanted to build a business. I knew that I was going to build a business where uh, I can go into a business and have an impact and turn that business around. How cool would it be to work with different businesses? Every business doing their own thing. And my unique services, I go in, and with my thing that I do, I turn that business around and turn it into profitable and help it grow and things like that. So with my agency, obviously, I was just talking to my marketing team earlier today that, it was such a, uh, my agency here in Calgary, such a great experience for me to even getting a website project done. It gave me an opportunity to learn a completely new business. It might be a couple of doctors in the suburbs of Calgary, might be a flooring store here, might be a condo management company there. But the learning opportunity, and that was exactly what I envisioned myself doing, and I got to do that in my agency on a day-to-day basis. And with RevStack, obviously, it's taken it to the whole another level now. But that's, like, have that big goal and audacious dream. And if you're a true entrepreneur, you'll figure out, you'll end up doing that eventually.
Absolutely. That's why having some sort of vision, goal is important to drive towards. If you don't have a goal, you have no clue what you're driving towards, and you're not able to make those decisions appropriately that will get you closer to your goal.
Yeah.
So it definitely, I
And
mean, dream big, I would say. Dream big, you'll figure out a way to get there. If you don't dream,
yeah,
you won't be paving a path.
the other side of this coin, Beyond, is that you and I, we've been to the school of hard knocks, and we've learned our lessons over our careers of 20 years being in these fields. And now, with a company like Extendly, this is an opportunity for young entrepreneurs, like you said, you want to work with them, to come in and shorten that distance. The things that took us 5, 10, 20 years to do, the new generation or the new entrepreneurs should be able to do that in the next 2 to 5 years using services like Extendly. And I think that's where you're really pouring back into giving back to the community. And what better way than to set up something that's very much required. A lot of companies fail because they don't have the right type of CRM structures in place, especially on the marketing side. Some market, like I am the first person, man, that, like, now I understand not just a marketing company, but a marketing department cannot and should not operate without a CRM. I ran my agency for the first 12 years without having a clue. Like, CRM, yeah, maybe dabble with HubSpot here and there, but just, like, having no clue, right? Like, imagine having access to this type of stuff early on when you're building out your,
Oh
having
yeah.
it structured. Like, marketing stuff should be good to go, and you can do that now with HighLevel and services like Extendly.
Absolutely. I mean, to that point, at my security company, in the beginning, we used Excel and Word docs to do our work orders and take in service calls and track calls coming in,
Yeah.
and it was horrible. As soon as we switched over to some sort of a CRM, seeing data became extremely easy. And today we use HighLevel in that business as well. As
Nice. So that was my another question, that are you guys using HighLevel internally for your own marketing for Extendly and maybe even for some of your other businesses?
Absolutely, yeah. So my pizza restaurants we use HighLevel for. My security company we use HighLevel for. Extendly runs on HighLevel. Everything in Extendly is just based on HighLevel.
Nice, nice, nice. That's amazing. That's eating your own dog food. And we do the same thing at RepStack. Our complete from our marketing to sales to customer support, everything is based on HighLevel 100%. And that's what we do every single day.
Yeah, we refuse to use any other products and services that aside from HighLevel, especially because HighLevel is extremely powerful. You don't need to go pay 10 different subscriptions to have it do the same thing. And
Mm,
not to mention, these guys are growing in features, benefits. They're building, expanding the platform more than any other company that I've seen add features and benefits at the speed that these guys are,
yeah,
right? You go
I
back
agree.
to Active Campaign or something, MailChimp, this, that, or the other, right? None of them have maybe they have the capability or maybe they don't, but they have not showcased adding features.
If you strip it down, I feel that HighLevel is really the equivalent of open source software if there was inside the CRM world with what they're doing, right? There's so much you can do with this. You can just come in and it's extremely cost effective. Yes, it is more intensive on the human side. That's why it's really meant for the marketing companies and departments to run this. But that's the open sourceness of this, that you can do so much with this. You can build businesses on top of HighLevel, and you can do, like, yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah,
So
the
that's
opportunity
very,
the opportunity in this high level world is amazing. It's
yeah.
definitely something worth looking at for anyone who's considering uh, um, considering high level or marketing or anything of the nature. And you don't necessarily have just one business model. You've got hundreds of business models you can build out of this. You just have to apply your knowledge and see what the problem is that people are encountering, and build a product or service around it. That's what we ended up doing, right? Uh,
Mm,
you guys have an amazing product and service yourself as well, right? And it's also built around a similar thing. Uh,
yeah.
Agencies need help with talented individuals to work for them. They may not have the know-how of how to source an individual, how to hire someone, how to train.
Mm.
You guys provide all of that. You provide that talent ready to go for them, so they can help scale their business.
Yeah, and speaking of that's thanks for that, Beyond, for making that point as well. Yes, you're absolutely right. We also come in, we plug in a particular site, HighLevel. I think about 80% of our clientele is HighLevel users, marketing agencies, SaaS companies, and coaches who are already using HighLevel. So it makes
Yeah.
our job a lot easier. And speaking of HighLevel, they have an event coming up next week. Are you planning on coming down to Dallas?
Yes, I'll be there.
All right. Looks like you and I are going to be seeing each other, man, face to
All
face
right.
next week. So I'll be there
Fantastic.
as well with my brother Athar, and it'll be a lot of fun to catch up and talk about a few things. Just before we quickly wrap this up, Beyond, I also want to talk about the size of your team that you have right now on the Extendly side, and what's your philosophy? behind hiring, and how are you building out your team right now?
Yeah, so I was just thinking about it the other day because someone asked me the question of how do you manage your team, especially now that it's gotten so large. We're about to cross our 70th hire in Extendly, and if you take into
Nice.
account some of the partnerships and acquisitions we've made, we're well over 100 people in our ecosystem already. So, one of the things that we really pay attention to is treating our team members just as important as our customers are, right? The philosophy that I have there is the theory that I go with is if you don't treat your team members just like your customers, how would you expect them to treat your customers just as good, right?
Hmm.
If you do a great job treating your team members, a lot of companies fail to understand that, and they don't treat their team members well, and hence they end up with a bad customer service
Hmm.
well, right? They're always pushing on them, pounding on them. You got to do this way, this way, this way, that way, right? And maybe
Hmm.
there's not even training in place to help them understand how to perform their job or task.
Hmm.
A lot of times we just anticipate that they should know because I know, and I
Hmm.
only know because you've been there, done that 1,000 times, and you just brought someone in brand new. You've got to put them through proper training, and you can't be so hard on them because that same energy is going to reflect forward to your customers, and now you're going to have a customer who's had a bad experience as well, and an
Hmm.
employee who doesn't really give a to excuse my language, but who doesn't really care about the customer service and whether they're giving them a bad experience or not. But instead,
Hmm.
you treated them really, really well. They would care if they received a bad experience. They would want to go back and fix it and apologize and actually mean an apology if there was somehow a bad experience provided. But before
Hmm.
then, 9 out of 10 times, they would offer an amazing experience to begin with.
Hmm. How do you ensure that they do the, like, how do you, like, I love that you're doing this. I just want to find out, like, how do you treat your employees as your clients? Like, what are those key things or key points of interactions? Obviously you mentioned at the point of hiring, but what's, like, how are you implementing this inside Extendly?
Yeah, so training is an important part. More importantly, ongoing training, right? Because there's not every little detail that you can teach a team member, so you have to take every opportunity you get. Every time they make a mistake, it's not a reason to get mad at them. It's an opportunity to train them,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
So it's an opportunity to say, it's okay, things happen. We make the same mistakes as well. Let me show you how to handle that next time, right? Uh, Come in with care, not that, you're frustrated and why'd you make this mistake, this, that, and the other. Now the defense mode has gone up from the team member side, and now they're not listening to you anymore because you're just another
Hmm.
person yelling at them, right? But
Hmm.
instead, you're taking an approach. Well, hey, I really care about your job, and I want you to be successful at it, and I want you to grow through your job, and be promoted and help more people, help your team members as well, right? So it's okay that you made the mistake. My fault that I probably didn't teach you the right way to do this. Let's take this opportunity to learn how to do this. Here's how I would approach this situation or this particular task, right? And help them understand that. Go through the process. Build out an SOP from that if there needs to be one, depending on what the task or mistake was, right? And ensure that they understood. So that you can expect that next time something of this nature comes, they don't make that same mistake. And at the same time, now they're knowledgeable enough to train their team members as well, their colleagues as well, to be able to say, hey, if next time something like this happens, this is how we're going to do it. And more importantly, Now you've just opened up a door for your team members to come to you and know that you're not going to get mad at them. Instead, you're going to take that opportunity to teach them. So if they're making a mistake,
Mm,
they're going to be able to come to you, versus you would have closed the door and they will continue to make the mistakes and they're not even going to tell you about it.
mm. Yeah, that's very well said. I think just taking those coaching opportunities and turning them, when something, especially when something happens wrong, or something that the outcome is not what you were looking for, and then looking at those as opportunities instead of, you can either take their defenses up or you can bring them down and turn this into an opportunity, and that's how you do it. You learn together. So that's a great way of treating people like your clients, and being involved in them. And I think Mark Cuban, I just heard him say this, that what he does with his companies is that he aligns the goals and the mission of the company with the mission and the goals of the people. And once you're able to do that, then it's just an amazing experience. It sounds good on paper, but how you do that, I think Beant's got a really good example of how he's doing it right now. So 70 people, that's huge, man. How are these people spread out in different teams? Like, how many are doing fulfillment, and then I'm sure you may have a sales team. I don't know, a marketing team. I don't know how the spread is looking. If you can
Yeah,
elaborate on that.
our operations team, which consists of marketing, sales, is fairly small. We're probably 30% of the company is on the operations side. Then remaining of the company, since our core services, support services, are support agents
Nice.
who are assisting on a day-to-day basis, taking on requests and answering them.
Nice, nice. That's very exciting, Beant. Beant, anything else before we wrap this up? If you're a digital marketing agency owner, and you're perhaps starting out, or perhaps you're ready to just like break through. I know I've been an agency owner, and I've had I basically got myself a job when I started my agency. It paid pretty well, but I just couldn't grow a certain point because I don't know, I couldn't build my team out properly. I just didn't have the right mindset sometimes. And now that I look back, I think that I was my own bottleneck. But for a person like that, who is maybe starting out, or who is stuck in a vicious circle in their agency journey, what would you recommend for them?
Yeah, a very good point there, and I have a personal experience going through something like that. What I would recommend is you have to get your hands dirty. You have to know what you're doing, what your business is, and be involved. Right from day one, you can't expect to outsource. You can't expect to just hire team members and or managers and have them manage the entire operations. I've done that in the past and I failed
Mm,
doing that. So I've learned a lesson or two from that. And ever since then, every business opportunity that I've gotten into, I've learned to go in and learn everything about the business and spend the time to learn different operations, different job duties, so that you are confident knowing what your business consists of. Right, someone starting in a marketing agency or the high level SaaS world, especially with the high level SaaS world, I would urge you to learn HighLevel. Don't just go start selling HighLevel without knowing, because if you don't know what HighLevel actually is capable of doing, how are you going to take the time to position it as a solution to the problem your customer is experiencing? Right. Once you know what it's capable of, you're able to sell with confidence. You're able to provide a solution to their problem. And now, when your team members also have issues, you're able to guide them a certain way as well when you start bringing in. So there's nothing wrong with starting out slow. I know everyone wants to scale and scale super fast and scale tomorrow, rather, but if you want to scale properly, you want to start out slow. You want to start out
Hmm.
slow, figure out what the problems are in your operations, in your fulfillment services. Making the sale is just one part. Your actual moneymaker is your fulfillment services, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
people would just ask for a refund if they
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
you have to ensure your fulfillment services are top notch. So start out
Hmm.
with a few customers, do a test, make sure you're able to keep up, and then gradually add on more customers. Once you've streamlined your processes and you know how to deal with almost every situation that's presented to you, well, now you can go ahead and scale. Now you can
Hmm.
turn up your ad spend or bring on more customers, bring in a larger team or hire sales reps, whatever the case is, however your scaling plan looks. Um,
Hmm.
but initially, start out slow. At Extendly, we did the same exact thing, right? We started out with just a few customers. I wasn't confident enough that we were going to be able to keep up and provide the services and or be able to hire as fast to be able to provide the services. Um, so we started out with one customer, added another one, and sort of we let them know, hey, this is just a beta test. We're testing out our services. Hopefully you're okay. We're going to make mistakes, and if we do,
Hmm.
please let us know. Open feedback, right? We got a bunch of good feedback from those customers, and then now we were able to add on more customers, and today we're well over 1,000 agencies that we're serving, and we're able to only do that because we started slow in the beginning.
Nice, man. That's such an amazing story, Beant. This was a great conversation, my friend. I'm going to see you in the next week in Dallas, and we're going to have some fun there. And until then, if anyone's, we got getextendly.com right up there. I think you guys have a great website. It's a very simple service. You guys can go check out getextendly.com. And then I think what you were just touching base on was that go slow to go fast, and it's perfect. And I think in going slow, what it really means is that you're building out systems and processes so that you need an infrastructure to grow, right? You
Right.
just can't, right? So dial in the service offering that you have, for foremost, and then have your infrastructure ready around it, your sales and marketing, all of that stuff. You should have closed at least, like, we have a coach, Jeff Fisher. He's our chief growth officer, and he always says that if you haven't closed 15 deals yourself, you're not ready to hire another person on the sales side. You should have done this at least yourself, so that now you can show them with processes and systems. Like you said, you've gone through some of these experiences before. Most of the situations you've dealt with already, and now you can train that other person based on uh, a system that already works, that's proven to work,
Right.
right? So it's not fair to people, really, for them to come in and in a half-baked situation. And and we tend up, as entrepreneurs, I've been definitely guilty of that I hide my inexperience and my mistakes behind the hiring that I did, and say, just use that mantra of hire slow and fire fast. And like the fire fast, you hide behind that. But if you go slow initially, like you said, Beyond, and build out these systems and processes, focus on your service, and then you start building your team, because eventually you're going to have to hire. Like, you're at 70 people in 2 years, man. That's impressive. Right? So you're going to have, there is an inevitability. If you're going to have to grow your business, you're going to need people. But for those people to come in and do amazing things for you, uh, be fair to them, have some systems and processes ready, and then see the magic happen. So I think
Absolutely.
this is a great conversation. I'm sure a lot of high level people would love to listen in on this call. And I guess I'll see you next week, Beyond. Thanks for doing this, man. Thanks for taking out your time.
Thanks for having me, Azar. See you next week.